right, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, or Junior Friday, as I like to say. Here is your do now for today. Today's do now, both answers are going to go in the chat. The first question is, what's your favorite movie? So put that in the chat first. And secondly, remember we had that quiz that was due yesterday. That was sort of a trial run to see if you all liked it or you thought it was fair or reasonable. So I would appreciate any feedback you have. It could be good, it could be bad, just to help me make decisions for the future of whether we should still use that, if I should find something different. Anything that you have to say about it would be helpful. So write those two answers in the chat. The Parent Trap, Lexi, that's my favorite movie. That's what I was gonna say. You got right along. I just watched The Parent Trap last week, actually. Thank God for Disney Plus. Superbad, a classic. Thank you for your feedback, Ida. Friday. Two more minutes to get your answers for the do now in the chat.
Part of Mr. Bragg here. Teachers, I know that you're currently teaching, but I want to let you know about a technology issue. We've just been informed that there's a district level issue with students being able to log in right now. So it's nothing that the kids have control over. The front desk is getting blown up with calls right now from parents who are concerned. Please be mindful of that when the system comes back up, that by no fault of anything that the students have control over, this is a district issue, that if the student was able to log in prior to the system going down, they're probably still on the Zoom with you. If on the other hand, they had not logged in yet, they cannot log in. Once it's resolved, I'll come back on VA and let you know, but please be mindful of that. These kids are struggling right now. I'm even going to send out a call to families to let them know as well. Thank you, North Central. Let's have a great day.
All right, 30 more seconds to get your answers for number 1 and number 2 in the chat. Thank you for your feedback, Anam. All right, last call for any feedback on Big Ideas Math in the chat. If you don't write anything down, then I don't know what your thoughts are, and I can't make decisions. So if you feel passionately about it, please let me know what you thought so that I can make a decision for the future on how quizzes will work. All right, let's go ahead and do our good things for today. So today's good things are going to come from Imani, Jaden, and Lexi. Imani, go ahead. What's your good thing?
I don't have to work today, so I can just stay home.
Exciting. You going to do anything with your time off?
I'll just watch Netflix.
Cool. Awesome. Jaden, what's your good thing?
Tomorrow's Friday.
Tomorrow's Friday, yes. Love that. Thank you for sharing. Lexi, what's your good thing?
My soccer team had their first game last night and we won.
Ooh, who'd you guys play against?
We scrimmaged against Brebeuf.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations. Go North Central.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for sharing. My good thing was that I made these lentil tacos yesterday that were really good in my Instant Pot. I don't know if I've talked about my Instant Pot before, but it's like my favorite thing in my kitchen. And then I had some coconut cake, so I had a great dinner last night. Was really jazzed about that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our notes. Before we do that, actually, are there any questions about the assignment? Remember, it's not due till next Thursday, but if you...
I couldn't, I would try to sign into Big Ideas Math, and it would say 403, you don't have access from the teacher or something. It may be because I just changed into this class, but I don't know why it was saying that.
Who did you have
Oh,
before?
I emailed you about it. Never mind. You responded to me. Sorry.
Okay. If we have time after today, Henry, you can go ahead and share your screen with me, and then we can hopefully figure out what the problem is. Any other questions? Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get started with example 2. So you'll need 2 things. You'll need your notes from yesterday. You'll need your calculator instructions from yesterday. Actually, you'll need 3 things. You'll also need your graphing calculator if you have one. If you don't have your graphing calculator, if you haven't already told me, make sure to send me an email letting me know that you don't have your graphing calculator and that you need more time. And that's fine. But if I don't get any communication from you, I'm going to assume that you have your graphing calculator and you're good to go. So I'm going to put that responsibility on you. If you don't have access to it, you need to let me know, like today. Do not wait until next Thursday when the assignment is due and be like, oh my gosh, I don't have my graphing calculator. If you think there's any chance that you're not going to get it by next Thursday, you got to let me know now. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and go to example 2. So use the following data below. So advertising versus items sold, and then solve for part A and for part B. So before we get started, this table is a little bit confusing because we have 3 columns, but it tells you it's advertising versus items sold. So advertising is your X and items sold is your Y. So we don't really care about the month. That's not going to really make a difference in our table of values. So that's a little bit sneaky, but always read the problem first. You might not need everything. All right, let's get our handy dandy graphing calculator out and get started with putting these values in and finding an equation of the line. So your first step is you have to hit second 0. So on my graphing calculator, I am going to hit second and then 0. And then you're going to scroll down until you get to diagnostic on. Oops. I lost it. All right, once you get to diagnostic on, you're going to press enter twice. So it should say done. That's how you know you did it correctly. Does anyone need help getting their diagnostic turned on? All right, next we're going to hit y equals, so we have to turn our stat plots on. So you're gonna hit y equals, you're gonna just double check, make sure that there's nothing in your y1, and scroll down 2 to make sure that there's nothing in the rest of them either. So you're good to go. And then you're gonna make sure that plot 1 is highlighted. So if it's not go ahead and make it to the black boxes over plot 1, press enter. And then make sure it's highlighted. Does anyone have any questions on how to get plot 1? All right, the next thing you're gonna do is make sure your stat plots are on. So turn second function, y equals. Mine are currently off, but I want them to be on. So to turn it on, you're gonna press enter, and then make sure that the on is now highlighted, and press enter. So now it should be
so how?
So go to second function and y equals. You there?
Yeah.
And press enter. And then if you're, make sure that the box is highlighted over on and press enter so that it's on. And you can check and make sure that you did it correctly by hitting second function and y equals again, and it should say plot 1 on. Anyone need help with that? All right, now we're on to this step right here. We're on stat, edit 1. So you're gonna hit stat, hit 1 for edit, and my calculator, as yours probably as well, has values from our previous problem. So to get rid of these, you're gonna highlight the top value and then press delete. Some of you might have to press delete and then enter, but what I'm gonna tell you not to do is make sure that you don't highlight the top row where it says L1 and L2, because if you delete that, it's gonna delete the whole column, and then you're gonna have to reset your calculator to get it back to normal. So don't do that. Just highlight the numbers and then press delete. So I'm gonna delete all my L1s first. So it's blank. And then I'm gonna go over to my L2s and delete all of my L2s. Questions on how to get the numbers deleted? All right, then we're gonna start plugging in our L1s and our L2s. So your L1 is your X value, so start with 45 and then go all the way down to 58, and make sure you press enter after each value. So you're gonna do 45, then press enter, and that should pop up under L1. Then you're gonna do 55, 47, 75, 90, 100, 100 again, 95, 88, 50, 45, and 58. Questions on that? All right, then we're gonna go over to L2 and you're gonna type in all your items sold. So we've got 15, 25, 17, 34, 41, 47, 50, 46, 37, 22, 20, and 30. All right, any questions about getting the L1s and the L2s in your calculator? Does anyone need more time? All right, let's go back to our instructions then. So from here, now we're on this step right here where it says stat and then the right arrow and calculate. So you're gonna hit stat. Go over to calculate. So you wanna highlight calculate, and then you wanna hit option number 4. If your calculator
Can you go back?
is there a question?
Can you go back?
Yeah. So hit stat. Go over to calculate, and then hit option number 4. Anyone else need me to go over that again? For some of you, you're gonna get a screen like this. And so for those of you that have a screen that looks like mine, make sure that you go all the way down to calculate and press enter. If yours just has linear regression that shows up, you can go ahead and press enter. So if you have the calculate screen, make sure you highlight calculate and then press enter. If you don't, then just press enter. And then you're gonna get your A value, your B value, your R squared, and your R. You don't care about the R squared, that's irrelevant right now. So let's just copy down the A, the B, and the R. You're gonna make sure that since it's a decimal, you're gonna round to the nearest hundred. So you've got A is 0.53. B,
Did you press calculate?
yes, you press calculate.
All right.
B is negative 5.32. And R is 0.98. 0.98. Oop. Does anyone need help getting those values? All right, we're gonna pause right here to write the equation of the line. So remember, the equation of the line is y equals ax plus b. Y equals ax plus b. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call on someone. So you don't need a graphing calculator to answer this question because I already gave you the stuff that you need your graphing calculator for. What is the equation of this line? What is the equation of this line? What do you think, Tia? Tia, can you give me the equation of this line? All right, we don't have a Tia, so we'll come back to Tia. Anam, can you give me the equation of this line?
Y equals 0.53x plus negative 5.32.
Yeah, but you don't have to do a plus and negative. You can just do minus.
Minus 5.
Yeah, just make it less clunky. Good. All right, you don't need to look at the graph to answer the next question, but I like to just visualize what's happening. So I'm going to continue on, but you could just theoretically stop here and be able to answer the rest of the equation, or sorry, the rest of the problem. But I want to see what the graph looks like. So I'm going to go back here to the y equals bar step. So I'm going to go to y equals, make sure that everything is clear. Then go to vars, hit option number 5. Then go over to EQ, which stands for equation, and hit option number 1. And that's going to put your equation into the y1.
Huh? Where is VARS?
Great question. So I'll clear that out. I'll do it one more time. So go to y equals. The vars is right here next to clear. So hit vars. Go to option number 5. Go to the right until EQ is highlighted. And then hit option 1. And that's going to put your equation back into y1. Anyone need help with that? All right, lastly, to get the graph, you're going to hit graph. And your graph, depending on the last problem you did, may be set to a different window. So you might not see the points that my graph says right now. So after you hit graph, you're going to hit zoom, which is right in the center. And then go down to option number 9, or you can just type in 9. Either one will work. And you should see a line that goes through all of your points. Questions on how to get the graph? All right, let's go back to part B then. So find out how many items will be sold if they spend $200 on advertising. Find out how many items will be sold if they spend $200 on advertising. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call on someone for that one. How many items will be sold if they spend $200 on advertising? How can I figure out that answer? How can I figure out that answer? What do you think, Henry?
You would have to plug in the X value is the advertising amount of money, right? And then hold up, right?
Yep, so what would I plug in for X?
Uh, 200.
Absolutely, yep. So you have your equation, so you're gonna plug in 200 for X. So it's gonna be 0.53 times 200 minus 5.32. So if you have your calculator to get off the graph, you're gonna hit second and then hit mode, and that will clear your graph. And then you're gonna do 0.53 parentheses 200, close your parentheses, minus 5.32. That's gonna give you 100.68. So you have y equals 100.68. But remember, this is a word problem, so 100.68, y stands for items sold. Questions on that? All right, the next example I'm gonna have you all try on your own. So example 3, we're talking about visitors to the Grand Canyon per year. So here's your table of values. I'm gonna give you all 6 minutes to try this on your own in your graphing calculator. If you don't have a graphing calculator, see if you can plot the points and find 2 points, find the slope between them, and use point slope formula. So if you don't have a graphing calculator with you today, try doing it by hand and see how your answer compares to the graphing calculator. If you do have a graphing calculator, you're gonna follow the instructions, and we're only gonna do part A for now. So just find the equation and find the R value. If you finish early, you can try doing part B, C, and D, but I just want you to focus on part A for right now. Any questions before I give you your time? Desmos might work, Noah, for graphing. I have not played around with the linear regression feature of Desmos, but if anyone wants to try that, that's an option. Thank you for that chat. All right, 6 minutes on the clock. We should be finding an equation and finding an R value. If you need help with your graphing calculator, then just unmute yourself and I will answer your question. Here are the instructions.
So when I was going in to like clear the numbers before, I accidentally like cleared like the L1 and L2.
Yeah, that sometimes happens. So you're
How,
going to reset your
how do
calculator.
you like put it back?
Okay, so to reset, you're going to hit second and then hit the plus sign and then go all the way down to reset and then press enter. And then click option 1 for all RAM. And then click 2 for reset. And that should clear it for you.
It's number of visitors per millions, right? So do we put 2.3 million or just 2.3?
2.3. Later on, when it asks you like what is the slope and what does it mean, that's when you're going to bring back in the million.
Okay.
And then Gavin, just make sure that you go through all the steps when you start over again, because you reset your calculator, so you want to step one again.
Okay.
Wait, how do you go back a step?
How do you what?
How do you go back like a step?
Like what step are you on, and how do you want to go back?
Yeah.
Like what step are you currently on?
Uh,
Can I
transfer equation to graph.
see your calculator?
My camera's not working for some reason.
Okay, so you're on the y equals bars. Is that where you're at?
Yeah.
And you want to go back to stat calculate?
Yep.
Just go ahead and hit stat again. And then just redo that step.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. Like, I'm not understanding this.
What step are you on?
Like, I don't know how to do the equation, like how to get it.
Okay, were you able to get the A, the B, and the R value from your calculator?
I haven't got the calculator yet.
Okay, so you're one of the that doesn't have a calculator. Okay, can you do like a makeshift graph? So like, let's label this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's label this 0, 10, 20, 30, and 40. And let's start by plotting the points. So let's do, oh, sorry, I misread my graph. Cross that out. Let's try this again. I wasn't paying attention. On the x-axis, I'm going to go with 10, 20, 30, and 40. And on the y-axis, I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So remember what we did on Monday? So that's time, y'all. If you need more time to finish working, go ahead and type in the chat how much more time you need. So if you need a minute, go with a minute. If you need 2 minutes, put in 2. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that we're ready to move on. Ida, from here, you're going to plot your points. So for example, you do 0, 2.3, 10, 2.7. And then plot all the points. And then do you remember on Monday how we chose 2 points and found the slope between them? You remember that?
Yeah.
So do that and then put it back into point slope.
I can choose like any points.
Yeah, you can choose whichever points. Your answer is going to be slightly off from the graphing calculator, but at least hopefully going to be close enough.
And then we just do y2 minus 1, 1.
Y2 minus
Okay.
y1 over x2 minus x1. And then lastly, we're going to plug it into the equation.
Like calculus or
Y
pre-calc
minus
stuff.
y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. But we can go over that in just a sec. All right, it looks like no one needs extra time, so I'm going to go ahead and ask for a volunteer. If you want to share your answer for the equation and the R value, go ahead and type in me into the chat. And I'll call on you to share your answer for the equation and the R value. All right, what did you get, Noah?
I got y equals 0.09x plus 2.46.
Good job. And then what did you get for your R value?
0.93.
Perfect. That looks good to me. Does anyone have any questions for Noah on how to get those numbers?
Is it okay if we rounded it up to 2.5?
Yeah, that's fine. I think in Big Ideas Math, it specifies the hundredth, but if it doesn't specify, then the 10th is fine.
All right.
Anyone else have a question? All right, cool. Let's go ahead to part B, C, and D, and I'll call on people for these answers. So regardless of whether you have a graphing calculator or not, you should be able to answer these questions now that we have the equation. All right, so part B, what is the slope of the line? What is the slope of the line? That's what I'm gonna ask you first. Amani, what is the slope of this line?
I don't know. I didn't get that far.
Well, let's look at the equation. So the equation is y equals 0.09x plus 2.46. Which one of those numbers is going to be your slope?
Is it 2.46?
That's your y-intercept. The slope is always the number in front of the x. So what's the number in front of the x?
0.09.
0.09. All right, so since this is a word problem, we need to make sure that we have context. So what does it mean for this example? Remember your table of values, the x's are the years since 1980 and the y's are the number of visitors. So what does this slope mean? What does the slope mean? What do you think, Nick?
That's how many years.
That's what?
How many years it is.
Not how many years. Remember, slope is always a rate. So it's y over x. So your y is what?
I gotta find the y.
No, I mean, like, what does the y stand for in this problem?
The number of visitors.
Yeah, the number of visitors per your x value, which is?
0.09.
What do we know the x is?
Oh, years.
Yeah.
Since 1980.
Or it's just the slope represents the number of visitors in millions per year. So it's just saying it in words. What does that slope mean? It's the number of visitors per year.
How did we get the slope?
What'd you say?
How did you get the slope?
The slope is just your a value that your calculator spit back out at you. So it's the number in front of your x.
Okay.
Any other questions? So we'll ask you in your assignment to interpret your slope. Your slope is always a rate of change. So it's always y over x. So the number of visitors per year. All right, what is the y-intercept going to be? What is the y-intercept going to be, Jaden?
Uh, 2.46.
Good, yep. So it's the b value, 2.46. What does this y-intercept mean in the context of this problem? What does the y-intercept mean? What do you think, Natalie?
The year.
So remember, the y-intercept is always your starting value. So it's saying at year 0, or in 1980, you had 2.46 visitors. So it means that in 1980, that's the starting year, the Grand Canyon had 2.46 million visitors. And some of you might be thinking, wait a second, in our table of values, the y value was 2.3 when x was 0. So why is it now 2.46? How is that okay? The reason why is because we drew a line of best fit. So the line of best fit doesn't go through all of the points in your table of values. So based on the line of best fit, the y-intercept is 2.46, and that's okay. It's okay that they're a little bit different. But you always want to go with the y-intercept of the equation, not of the table when you're doing these problems. Any questions about how to interpret the y-intercept? All right, lastly, part D, predict the number of visitors in 2020 using the equation. Predict the numbers of visitors in 2020 using the equation. How can I predict the number of visitors? How can I predict the number of visitors? What do you think, Gavin?
Can't you just like plug in 40?
And can you explain why you're using 40?
Because 2020 minus 1980 is 40.
Yeah, so in your table of values, you're counting the years since 1980, so you don't want to just plug in 2020. You got 2020 minus 1980 to get 40, so that's what you plug in. So if y is equal to 0.09 parentheses 40, we're replacing the x with 40 plus 2.46. So take out your calculator, going to be 0.09 parentheses 40 plus 2.46, and that's going to give you 6.06. So you're predicting that in 2020, you'll have 6.06 million visitors. Questions on that?
Wait, how you get 40?
Because you're looking at years since 1980, so you have to do 2020 minus 1980 to figure out how many years have passed. Any other questions? All right, the last example we're gonna go ahead and do in groups of 3. So hopefully if you don't have a graphing calculator, someone in your group has a graphing calculator so they can get the equation. But you should be able to do part B and part C without a graphing calculator if you have the equation. So just because you don't have a graphing calculator doesn't mean that you can not participate in the group. You're gonna work together. So hopefully someone in your group has a graphing calculator. If none of the people in your group have a graphing calculator, then you can message me and tell me that you need someone with a graphing calculator in your group. But otherwise, someone should have it and someone should be able to find the equation. And you should go from there. Before you get started though, just note that it says let year 2000 equal 0. So when you plug in your x values, don't plug in 2004, 2005. You want to plug in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. So make sure that you adjust the x values. Oops, sorry. I lied to you all. It said let 2000 equal 0, and we start at 2004. So 2004 minus 2000, that's 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically, you're just taking that last number for the year, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. That's what you're going to plug in for your x values. All right, I'm going to split you guys up. I'll give you all 5 minutes, and then I'll call you back. So try to get A, B, and C completed in that time. If you need help with your graphing calculator, just raise your hand and I should be able to get a notification to enter into your breakout room. All right, there you go. Enjoy. Make sure to join your breakout rooms if you haven't already. Amani and Henry.
It kicked me out the thing.
Okay, were you assigned to a group yet or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll assign you to a group then.
Pardon the interruption. Teachers, it looks like the technology issues have now been resolved. Thank you so much for your patience.
All right, everyone, before we leave, it looks like everyone's back. Just remember that your assignments today, you have Big Ideas Math 1.3 assignment part 3. That's going to be due Thursday, August 20th, so you have a week. And then just print out your notes for tomorrow. We'll go over the answers for that last partner practice problem tomorrow. All right, I'll stick around for a few minutes if you have any questions. If not, tomorrow.
For C, we would plug in
Plug in for Steve.
19, right?
Yep, 19.
Okay.
Henry, did you need help with Big Ideas Math?
I think I'm fine, but actually, no, I'm not. I just checked it and it says 403 again.
Do you mind sharing your screen so I can see what you're seeing?
How do I do that?
Hang on. Do you see at the bottom of your Zoom screen, it should say, there should be a green button that says share screen.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't, give me just a second because I need to change the settings. Okay, yes. Go ahead
Do I
and hit
share desktop or application?
the desktop.
Can you see it?
Try application then.
Oh, no, there we go.
Okay.
You see it? This is what shows up.
Go back. So click Algebra 2 Fall Zoom link. Is that my Canvas page?
Yeah.
Go to home.
Mm-hmm. I'm home.
Oh, yours froze for whatever reason. Okay, then click class resources.
Big ideas.
Uh-huh. And then it's going to download the instructions to open that PDF. And then click that link, so bigideasmath.com/login.